A growing number of influencers have discovered that the fastest way to go viral is by pretending that they're struggling, not just mentally or emotionally, but financially. I've seen countless creators who have hopped on this grift and pretended to struggle financially while living very comfortable lifestyles, directly contradicting their own content one day after another. What they're doing is turning poverty into an aesthetic, struggle and hardship into a brand, and eventually generosity into a performance. And today we're going to be talking about one of the clearest examples of that, and that is Chris, better known online as the Solo Dad, who has recently gone viral for his multiple angel tree hauls, including a massive Sephora haul for an 11-year-old girl, when his entire brand is built on the narrative of being a broke solo dad just doing his best. And with all the buzz and drama surrounding the angel tree and the program, I figured this was a good time to open up this discussion because I want to bring up how influencers have officially taken something and completely lost the plot. This isn't about charity. This isn't about a man giving or not giving. This is about when influencers steal stories of struggles that never belonged to them. We got a lot to talk about, so let's go, guys. Before we get further into it, hello, welcome back to the channel. I apologize if I sound off. I sound off to myself, but I am currently sick, so that's fun. So I'm hopped up on Tylenol, cold and flu, and I got my coffee here, so hopefully we can make it through this video without too many interruptions. And I wanted to wish you guys a happy December. We have made it to Christmas month. What are your big plans for the coming holiday season? Are you excited? Are you dreading it? Because I know there's two sides of the coin. And please don't forget to like and subscribe before you head out if you like my coverage of things. I would greatly appreciate it. And it really helps boost the channel into the algorithm when you guys do that. And yeah, first and foremost, let's discuss this whole idea surrounding fake relatability. So before we get into Chris, the solo dad, and his whole grifting train, we need to understand the ecosystem that he's a part of. He is one of the many creators, a part of this digital landscape where relatability is packaged and then sold to the audience. And on platforms like TikTok, Instagram, Facebook, YouTube, most social media platforms, the creators who seem the most relatable, the most like us, the ones who are struggling, be it mentally or financially, are the ones that gain the most trust. And in the realm of social media, trust is money. But the problem is when this relatability is delivered and it is a false narrative. Fake relatability is this idea of curating this content to seem more relatable to the average Joe Schmo, when really it's fake and curated to make them look broke or struggling, exhausted, overwhelmed. All these buzzwords that Chris uses very often in his content. And they do this even when their real lives do not remotely look like this. It's essentially this digital version of putting on a costume or a mask, and that costume is labeled as poverty. But the thing is poverty is not a costume. And this is problematic for a ton of reasons, including minimizing people who are actually struggling and real life struggles. And now enters Chris, the solo dad. As I said, Chris built his entire platform on being this broke solo dad just trying his best to raise his kids. This guy who does everything for his kids, the sacrifices he makes, the $10 meal ideas, essentially labeling himself as that scrappy underdog that everybody loves to cheer and root for. It's a really powerful narrative and one that resonates really deeply with people who are actually in the thick of it struggling, especially in today's climate when so many families are just trying to survive day to day, living paycheck to paycheck, paying bills, choosing between paying rent or paying hydro, paying for food or paying for electricity. But here's the issue. Chris is not a broke single father. In fact, he is extremely well off. He is in a 2-income household, even though he tends to allow his wife the luxury of privacy while his children all over the internet and giving all of their real and raw moments on a silver platter for people to consume as entertainment. So be it. But he also works full-time as a physician's assistant. And I actually just saw another video that he posted. Oh my gosh, my ears. My ears feel like they're going to explode. I feel like I'm yelling and I know I'm talking really quietly and it's just the pressure in my brain. But I don't even remember what I was saying. Chris is a physician's assistant, which pulls in a pretty hefty income. And his wife also works presumably full-time in healthcare as well. And the reality is Chris lives in a comfortable 2-income household with professional level salaries. And on top of that, brand deals and social media influence money to top it all off. But the way this man built his entire brand does not show that. He built his brand based on hardship. And that's where we come to the Angel Tree hauls that he's been doing recently. For those that don't know, Angel Tree is a program put on by the Salvation Army to help families in deep financial need. And with today's economy, I am so grateful for programs like this. Which is really interesting quickly before we get into Chris's hauls is on my last Angel Tree video, which I will try and remember to link here. I got quite a few comments that completely warmed my heart. There was a lot of you guys that were so outraged by that mom's just awful, nasty attitude that you guys went out yourselves and bought an Angel Tree a Christmas, which is absolutely fantastic and warms my heart. But on the opposite end of the coin, I also got quite a few comments, basically just the nastiest comments being like, well, I'm so tired of welfare, like I have welfare mommy fatigue or something like that, and people blaming these children and their parents for struggling, assuming that they're single moms on welfare, which is a really disgusting and gross assumption. Sure, there might be some single moms on welfare, but there might also be families who have recently lost their job. And a lot of people were saying, oh, just go get a job. I don't think people realize how privileged you are to be able to say words like that, how entitled you are and come across and sound, and completely out of touch. That is such a nasty thing to say to people who are struggling because you have no idea. And that single mom who signed up for Angel Tree to give her kids a Christmas might not be a welfare mommy like you state. It might be a mom who's working 3 jobs just to pay for the egregious amount of rent she needs and to feed her children, and there's nothing extra at the end of the month. That's the reality that a lot of people are facing, and it really broke my heart to see quite a few nasty comments on that video because it's like, I don't know, again, it's just chipping away at that faith in humanity that you have. You know what I mean? So I wanted to ask the question. I wanted to see how many people think that the Angel Tree program is a scam, because with people coming to my comments saying stuff like that, like it's a scam and these people are just going to take that and sell the toys. Like, does that actually happen? And I'm sure it does. There's always people that take advantage of systems like this, but to assume that everybody on the Angel Tree program is going to take that donation and flip it and sell it. It's so heartbreaking to see people with that kind of mentality. I don't know. So I wanted to ask you guys what you think. Do you actually worry that the Angel Tree program could be a scam? Or are these people just like completely out to lunch? Because I'm leaning towards the latter. But again, the program isn't even here. We have Toy Mountain, which is where people can donate new toys and families sign up to get a couple toys for Christmas. I believe it's more similar to Toys for Tots in the US, but we don't have like this Angel Tree program where people ask for their wants and wishes and get a tag and that's what gets fulfilled. But the point of the Angel Tree program is to adopt a child for Christmas and give them a Christmas that they would otherwise go without. These kids are presumably getting nothing because there's no money left at the end of the month. So anyway, that's my little soapbox rant type thing. It put a sour taste in my mouth, and it was really just hard to see, you know? But with all that being said, when Chris comes in and films himself donating to an angel tree, especially he did an elderly angel tree.
Found an angel tree for the elderly on hospice and those with no family. Let's go get the stuff for them. I'm trying really hard not to lose these. We're gonna hook them in here. Now, this one is for a male. Now this guy's favorite color is purple, so let's see if we can find some t-shirts and a pair of shorts. We're gonna get this one. They don't have purple, but I feel like black matches with everything. A lot of people shop for the kids for the angel trees, but everyone forgets about the elderly. I'm so happy that I was able to find one. That one's done. Now we need 2 pullover tops. It doesn't say long sleeve or short sleeve, so we're gonna get one of each. Those gift tags really got to me. There were so many on there. There was one that just wanted a walker. Literally just a walker. 1 Dove shampoo and tissue. I'm gonna get this big one. 1 box of tissues. 1 jacket, size large. I think we'll get this one. We do need to wrap all these, so we're gonna get some gift bags. We have one more that I can't fill here, so we're gonna go to Target. For this last one, we're looking for a nightgown and slipper. We also need queen bed sheets. Are these nightgowns? All right, I think these might be them. Nope. We found nightgowns, but they're like mid-thigh. I don't know if Granny wants mid-thigh. 1 nightgown. Let's see if they have any slippers. These have rubber bottoms, so I feel like these are safe. Now we just need queen bed sheets and we're all done. All right, that's everything. Now all we have left to do is drop it all off.
It is so easy to see why people are moved by that. These people are struggling, they're in desperate financial need, and this guy is swooping in to fulfill a need, to donate selflessly. Can't be completely selfless because he is filming it after all, and provide someone with a Christmas. It is emotional content, wholesome, it's generous. But there's a huge ethical problem here. And that is that one huge impact that this emotional content has is the fact that he has labeled himself as struggling. Therefore, now he's giving what little he has to give. And it's this classic broke but generous storyline, except he's not broke. So his audience sees him as this noble man donating his last pennies despite his hardship, when in reality, he is just gaining views, followers, brand deals, and virality out of it. Grifting on the Angel Tree program because it is what's buzzing right now, making people go viral. And that's where charity, donations becomes content, and generosity becomes performance. And Chris's patterns of behavior is something that we've seen across many influencers. And it's a term that I've coined as the poverty to generosity pipeline. 1, claim hardship. I'm broke, I'm struggling, unable to get by. 2, build sympathy and parasocial trust. With this whole, you're such a good dad, you're doing your best, you're so inspirational. How can I help? 3, accept donations, wish list items, financial support, direct or indirect. Even if not explicitly asked for, the branding does the work for itself. And then step 4, perform public generosity. We're talking big hauls with the emotional music tagged behind it. And then step 5, repeat the cycle. And it's not that the charity isn't real, it's that the story is manufactured to make this creator look like this holier than thou saintly person, while the audience is intentionally misled about this creator's financial reality. And Chris is not the first creator who has realized that fake hardship sells. In fact, he's part of a much larger creator community who have done the exact same thing. First, we have Jordan Cheyenne, who faked this crying and forced her child to perform online for a thumbnail. And then we have Micah Stauffer, who adopted a child and grifted on this struggling special needs mom only to rehome him. We have a bunch of fake homeless creators who are pretending to live in their car and be struggling when in reality they're still living at home with mommy and daddy. But they're raking in all the views, all those sympathy votes, because playing on people's emotions, especially anger or empathy, is a powerful tool to go viral and to gain trust. Because the more relatable you seem, the more people trust you. The more of themselves they can see in you, the more automatic trust that you gain. As I said, these aren't isolated cases. They're a symptom of a culture where struggle becomes a brand and empathy is something that can be used for profit. So now we have to dabble a little bit into the psychology and ask ourselves, well, why does this work so well? Why does fake relatability sell? First of all, we have the just like me effect. Like I just said, the more relatable someone seems, the more trust they're going to gain automatically from their audience. And vulnerability, even if it's manufactured, drives the algorithm. Crying, hardship, real moments, that all boosts them into the algorithm as relatable. And that really drives the likes, the comments, and the saves. And then we have this kind of suffering redemption arc. People love that. And we also have something called donation dopamine. It feels good to donate. And even if it's vicariously through someone else that you're supporting, you still get that hit of dopamine. And then finally, we have this saint effect. When creators film themselves donating for charity and doing good deeds, it gives them this kind of moral halo, and that ends up protecting them from all types of criticism, even when their narrative is completely dishonest. And we see that a lot with Chris, the solo dad. His entire brand was built on dishonesty, on being a solo dad, pretending he wasn't married or had a wife, and being broke and struggling. And none of that is true. And the thing is this isn't just a harmless little white lie. It manipulates people's emotion, redirects resources away from real families, and rewrites what poverty actually looks like. So why is this a problem? First of all, it steals representation. Real families who are struggling don't get to perform this struggle for the camera. They live it day in and day out. It also manipulates viewers, as I've stated before, especially those who are donating with the belief that this creator is truly in need. It also ends up commercializing hardship, turning poverty and struggling into entertainment, into content. And it ends up distorting reality when these influencers who are living very comfortable lives pretend that they're broke or struggling. It makes real people suffering in real poverty invisible. And it also ultimately is profiting off of lies. The story is fake, but the money is real. What does real generosity look like then? Because this video isn't a criticism about charity, about giving versus not giving, but real generosity is private. There's humility. There's no camera crew or elaborate plans or narratives or anything like that. And it's entirely possible to donate without filming it for content for social media. But that doesn't go viral. And now there is something to be said about filming it to be able to afford to do this. There's a couple creators in the Angel Tree Halls who have been very open about the fact that the money that they're getting from their vlogs, from filming this stuff, is going towards the Angel Tree Halls. It's the reason they're able to afford it. And I think that's really great, especially if they're authentic and open and honest about it. But when we're playing this whole I'm struggling, I need help narrative, I can barely get by, we're doing cheap meal plans, whole 9 yards, that's where the plot gets lost. And ultimately, Chris, the solo dad, might be a loving father. He might enjoy giving back to his community. But the story he tells of himself is not the truth. He's not this broke solo dad struggling to get by. He is living in a comfortable dual income household while creating this fictionalized version of himself online. And that's where the problem lies. And when influencers steal these stories of struggle, they're not just lying. They're exploiting very real suffering that many families go through who can't perform their poverty for clicks. So the next time you see a creator crying about bills or staging this poverty story that just doesn't quite add up, or this giant generosity narrative arc, I want you guys to ask yourself this. Is this actual true vulnerability, or is this just marketing for social media for the camera? Poverty is not this costume that you can put on and take off to benefit yourself to line your own pockets. Struggling is not a freaking brand. And your generous donations do not need to be filmed as this holier than thou, look how good I am redemption arc. Thank you so much for joining me today. Again, happy December. We are officially in Christmas month. Don't forget to like and subscribe before you head out to help boost my videos into the algorithm. I truly appreciate it. And I hope you guys are having an amazing start to your December, a beautiful, fantastic, wonderful day wherever you are in the world. And I will talk to you guys soon. Bye, guys.